Have you ever thought that the position you fall asleep in tonight could decide whether you wake up refreshed or maybe not wake up at all? What if the very thing you believe is helping your brain rest is quietly starving it instead? And here's the real question. Could something as simple as your pillow or the side you sleep on be silently raising your risk of a stroke? Hi, I'm Dr. Nana, and I want you to stay with me, because what I'm about to share could truly change the way you think about sleep. Every night, millions of people crawl into bed, believing they're giving their brain a much-needed break. But the truth? The way your head and neck hit the pillow might be blocking blood flow, straining your arteries, and robbing your brain of oxygen. Let me ask you this. Have you ever woken up with a numb arm, a pounding headache, or a dizzy spell you just couldn't explain? Many people blame it on age or maybe a bad dream. But the reality is far more unsettling. Your sleeping position may be the hidden culprit. I've seen it too often in my years of practice. Not because of what people do during the day, but because of how they sleep at night. In this video, we'll uncover the most dangerous sleeping positions habits you might have carried for decades without realizing the silent damage they cause. And here's the good news. I'll also show you simple changes you can make so that your sleep actually protects your brain, your heart, and your future. If you're over 60 or love someone who is, this might be the wake-up call you didn't know you needed. Drop a 1 in the comments if you're a side sleeper, or oh if you sleep on your back or stomach. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to Senior Health Boost. We're here to keep your brain sharp and your body strong. Now, let's dive into the first sleeping habit that looks harmless, but may quietly be doing more harm than good: lying on one side all night without moving. It feels cozy, it feels safe, but here's what most people don't realize. In the last part, we talked about how something as simple as pillow height could quietly restrict blood flow and leave your brain gasping for oxygen overnight. Now, let's take that idea a step further, because if your arteries are already narrowed with age, or if you have issues in your cervical spine, the risks grow even higher. Think of it this way. When you tilt your head too far forward with a high pillow, you're not just bending your neck, you're stressing structures that are already delicate. It's like bending a garden hose. Sure, water still flows, but it trickles out instead of streaming freely. The same thing can happen inside your body. Blood still moves, but not enough to nourish your brain the way it needs. And over hours of sleep, that small limitation can add up to something dangerous. So, what's the solution? Choose a pillow that supports your neck's natural curve without pushing your chin down toward your chest. A quick rule of thumb is simple. Lie on your back and check whether your nose lines up with your sternum. If your chin is dropping too far forward, chances are your pillow is too thick or too high. This one adjustment alone can make the difference between a foggy, dizzy morning and waking up with clarity. But let's not stop at pillow height. There's another position one many people find comforting that could quietly reduce the oxygen flowing to your brain each night. Picture this. You're curled up tightly, knees tucked to your chest, your head bent forward. It feels safe, almost like being cradled. This is what we call the fetal position. And while it may remind you of the snug security of the womb, the reality is far less nurturing for your body as an adult. When you curl yourself up this way, you compress your chest cavity. That means your lungs don't have the full space to expand. Less expansion equals less oxygen. Less oxygen in your bloodstream means less oxygen reaching your brain. And if you added a high pillow on top of that posture, you've got a double blow: restricted lungs and a bent neck, both cutting off circulation. I once worked with a woman, 69 years old, who swore by her fetal position. She told me she couldn't fall asleep any other way. Yet every morning, she woke up with numb fingers and dizzy spells that left her unsteady on her feet. We tried everything: adjusting her diet, encouraging better hydration, even light exercise. But nothing solved the problem until she made one simple change. She straightened her posture at night. She switched to a flatter pillow and added a small cushion between her knees to keep her body slightly more open. Within just a week, her morning numbness disappeared. Imagine how such a small adjustment turned her mornings from frightening to normal again. Sleeping curled up doesn't just limit oxygen, it also compresses your nerves. That pins and needles feeling in your hands or feet, that's not just age or bad circulation. It may be your sleep posture strangling your own nerves. Have you ever woken up feeling like your arm didn't even belong to you, as if it were made of rubber or wood? That sensation could be the direct result of curling too tightly. Here's a better way. Lie on your side with a gentle bend in your knees, not a tight ball. Use a supportive pillow behind your back to keep you from rolling. Keep your head aligned with your spine instead of folding it forward. This isn't about holding a stiff military posture, it's simply about staying open enough so that your lungs can fill and your blood can circulate. Think of it as giving your body room to breathe while still feeling comfortable. Now, many people wonder, what about sleeping on my back? Isn't that the healthiest? And yes, in many ways, sleeping on your back is often praised as the gold standard. It keeps your weight distributed evenly, it prevents one side of your body from being compressed, and it can reduce acid reflux if done properly. But here's the catch, even this seemingly perfect position has its dangers if you get one thing wrong: your neck support. If your pillow doesn't cradle the natural curve of your neck, your head can tilt backward or slide sideways. At first glance, it doesn't sound like a big deal. But over hours, this subtle misalignment can quietly strain the tiny blood vessels at the base of your skull. These vessels aren't just any vessels, they feed critical areas of your brain that control balance, coordination, and sleep itself. When these vessels are compressed, your brain doesn't get the steady flow it needs. That's why some people wake up with unexplained headaches, dizziness, or the sense that they didn't sleep at all. Some even think they're struggling with insomnia, when in reality, it's their pillow robbing them of deep rest through micro-awakenings all night long. I remember one man in his early 70s who came to me exhausted. He was convinced he had a sleep disorder. Every morning, he woke with a heavy, tight feeling at the base of his skull, and no matter how long he stayed in bed, he never felt restored. We discovered that he had been sleeping on his back with a flat pillow, letting his head droop backward all night. Once he switched to a pillow designed for cervical support, just enough lift to align his neck with his spine, everything changed. Within days, his headaches eased, and his sleep deepened. He told me it felt like his nights had been given back to him. So, if you're a back sleeper, take a moment tonight. Lie down and notice how your head rests. Is your nose aligned with your sternum? Does your pillow fit the curve of your neck? Or are you tilted awkwardly? Investing in a contoured pillow isn't just about comfort, it could be the small change that keeps blood flowing freely, protecting your brain and your balance for years to come. Remember, sleep isn't just about getting hours in bed. It's about what your body experiences during those hours. Poor posture at night doesn't just leave you groggy in the morning, it may be silently undermining your circulation and your brain's health. But the good news is, with awareness and small adjustments, you can reclaim safer, healthier sleep. And now that we've covered the hidden dangers of pillows and common side and back positions, it's time to look at something equally important: the surprising mistakes people make when they sleep on their stomach. This is where things get even trickier. In the last section, we uncovered how poor support for your back and neck, even in positions people believe are safe, can quietly strain circulation and rob your brain of oxygen. But now, let's explore one position that carries risks not only for your brain but also for your heart and lungs. I'm talking about stomach sleeping. For many, this position feels comforting, especially if you're trying to ease back pain. At first, it may seem like you're giving your spine a break, but the cost is steep. Your neck, heart, and lungs all pay the price. Here's why. When you sleep on your stomach, your head has no choice but to twist to one side. It stays locked there for hours. That constant twist can press on the carotid artery, the main vessel that supplies oxygen-rich blood to your brain. Imagine squeezing that vital pathway night after night. I remember a patient in his mid-60s who swore by stomach sleeping. He believed it reduced his snoring. But over time, he developed chest tightness in the mornings and a heavy brain fog that clouded his thinking. After a thorough evaluation, it became clear his sleeping habit was straining his neck, limiting his breathing, and reducing oxygen flow to his brain. His blood pressure was climbing, and the lack of oxygen during sleep placed him at real risk. There's another layer to this problem. Lying on your stomach puts direct pressure on your chest. That makes it harder for your lungs to expand fully. Less expansion equals less oxygen entering your blood, and less oxygen in the bloodstream means less delivered to your brain. For someone with high blood pressure or stiff, hardened arteries, this restriction is especially dangerous. It can quietly raise stroke risk while you sleep. So, what can you do if you're a stomach sleeper? The best option is to train yourself to sleep on your side or back. It may take patience, but your body and your brain will thank you. If you absolutely can't give up stomach sleeping, there are small adjustments that make it safer. Place a thin pillow under your hips to reduce spinal strain, and either skip a head pillow or use one that's very flat. This keeps your neck from bending too sharply and reduces the pressure on your arteries. Now, Let's shift to another surprising habit. One that feels cozy on a cold night, but could silently turn your bed into a trap for your brain: sleeping with your head under the blanket. I once spoke with a man in his 70s who admitted he loved burying himself under the blanket in winter. He said it made him feel secure and warm. Yet every morning he woke sluggish, groggy, and heavy-headed. When we measured the air beneath his blanket, the difference was startling. Oxygen levels were lower, and carbon dioxide levels were significantly higher than in the rest of the room. His brain had been working harder all night to cope with less oxygen. This matters more than comfort. When oxygen levels drop during sleep, a condition called hypoxia, your blood thickens. That raises the risk of clot formation, particularly since circulation naturally slows down at night. Clots in the wrong place can lead to strokes. On top of that, elevated carbon dioxide can trigger headaches, confusion, or restless sleep. So, how can you stay warm without suffocating your brain? Keep your nose and mouth uncovered. Use layered blankets, a breathable wool cover, or even a heated mattress pad if your room is cold. Remember this simple truth: your brain needs oxygen more than it needs warmth. Finally, let's talk about another common mistake. One that doesn't happen in bed at all, but in a place many people love to nap: the recliner chair. It feels relaxing, doesn't it? After a long day, you sink back into your favorite chair, maybe watching a movie or dozing off with a book. It seems harmless, even luxurious. But if you make a habit of sleeping in that semi-sitting position, night after night, you may be quietly increasing your risk of blood clots. Here's why. When your legs rest lower than your heart for hours, gravity pulls blood downward. Circulation slows in your lower limbs, making it easier for blood to pool. Over time, that pooling increases the risk of deep vein thrombosis, or DVT. These are clots that form in the deep veins of your legs. Most of the time, they're silent. But if a clot breaks loose and travels to your lungs or brain, the consequences can be life-threatening. For older adults especially, sleeping in a recliner can be more dangerous than it appears. That's why it's so important to limit recliner sleep to short naps rather than full nights. If you notice swelling in your legs or feel pain in your calves after sleeping this way, take it as a warning sign. Your body is telling you that circulation is being compromised. So far, we've uncovered some of the most dangerous sleeping habits on your stomach, under the blanket, or in a recliner that can quietly threaten your brain, your heart, and your circulation. But there's still more to explore. Because beyond positions and blankets, there are other subtle nighttime choices that may put your health at risk without you realizing it. And that's exactly where we'll go next. Earlier, we talked about the dangers of recliner sleeping and how circulation problems can creep in without warning. Let me share with you a case that has stayed with me for years. I remember a patient, 74 years old, who slept in his recliner every night because of persistent back pain. He told me he felt more comfortable upright, and for a while, it seemed harmless. But after a few months, his left leg began to swell, and he developed shortness of breath that scared him. A scan revealed what he never expected. A clot had formed in his calf and traveled to his lungs. He was stunned when I explained that his beloved recliner was the real culprit. Even if you feel fine, this position reduces blood flow returning to both the heart and the brain. That means less oxygen delivered where it matters most and a gradual rise in stroke risk over time. The danger is greatest when you stay still for long stretches, not moving your legs. If you enjoy napping in a recliner, limit it to short periods only. Elevate your feet on a footrest and remember to flex your ankles every half hour. But when it comes to overnight sleep, nothing replaces a supportive bed, flat, stable, and built for real recovery. Now, let's move into something surprising. Not all sides sleeping is created equal. On the surface, it looks like a harmless position. Yet, depending on which side you favor, your brain may either be supported or put quietly at risk. Here's the truth. Sleeping on your left side often carries certain benefits. But consistently sleeping on your right side, that can do more harm than many people realize. Why? Because your body isn't perfectly symmetrical inside. The way you position yourself at night influences how blood and fluids move not just through your body, but through your brain. When you lie on your right side for hours, it places pressure on the inferior vena cava, the large vein carrying blood back to your heart. That pressure can slightly reduce circulation, including blood traveling upward to your brain. But the real concern lies inside your head. Research has shown that sleeping on the right side may slow the efficiency of the brain's lymphatic system, the glymphatic system. This is the very system responsible for clearing away toxins and waste products while you sleep. One study from Stony Brook University showed that rodents sleeping on their right side had slower clearance of harmful proteins directly linked to degenerative brain diseases such as Alzheimer's. Think about that. A small habit, repeated night after night, could potentially influence how well your brain cleans itself. I once treated a woman, 68 years old, who always slept on her right side. Over time, she noticed her memory slipping. She couldn't recall names as easily, and her mornings were clouded by brain fog. After working with her neurologist, she gradually shifted to sleeping more often on her left side, using a body pillow for support. Within a few weeks, her clarity improved noticeably. It wasn't magic, it was physiology. If you're a devoted right-side sleeper, don't panic. Instead, aim for balance. Alternate sides or use pillows to make your left side feel equally comfortable. Supporting your top leg and shoulder can make a huge difference. Over time, your body adapts, and you may find the left side just as cozy as the right without the added risks. Next, let's take a closer look at another factor many people never think about: temperature and neck support. Have you ever dozed off in a chilly bedroom, believing cooler air guarantees better rest? There's truth to that. Sleeping in a slightly cool environment does promote restfulness. But when the air gets too cold, and when your neck lacks proper support, you may be setting yourself up for a night of poor circulation and hidden risks. Here's what happens. Cold air causes your blood vessels to constrict. It's the body's natural way of preserving heat. But when that constriction occurs in your neck and head, oxygen-rich blood struggles to reach your brain efficiently. Now, if your neck is also unsupported, those vessels may kink or stretch, worsening the problem. I recall a patient, a 66-year-old woman, who loved sleeping with her window cracked open, even in the middle of winter. She believed the fresh air made her sleep deeper. Yet she often woke up with a stiff neck and pounding headaches. After some adjustments, adding proper neck support with a cervical pillow and keeping her room just a touch warmer, her symptoms eased dramatically. This is a reminder that balance is everything. A bedroom around 65 degrees is ideal, but don't let your body freeze. If you tend to get cold, use a breathable wool blanket or even a light neck wrap. Most importantly, make sure your pillow gently cradles your neck, keeping your spine aligned. Your muscles should feel supported, not strained. And here's the bigger picture. Sleep isn't just downtime. It's the most critical time for your brain's recovery, repair, and renewal. The position of your head, the angle of your neck, even which side you choose, all of it plays a role in how well your brain restores itself each night. The good news? You hold the power. With a few small, intentional adjustments, choosing the right pillow, balancing your sleep sides, avoiding dangerous habits like stomach sleeping or blanket suffocation, you can turn sleep into one of your greatest defenses against stroke, memory loss, and fatigue. So tonight, before you drift off, take just a moment to check yourself. Is your neck supported? Is your breathing free and easy? Is your spine aligned? These quiet checks may be the most important bedtime ritual you ever adopt. Because the truth is simple. The way you sleep could decide the way you wake up tomorrow and the health of your brain for years to come. If even one tip from this video spoke to you, I'd love to hear it. Drop a 1 in the comments and let us know what you're changing tonight. And remember, we're building a community here, a place where protecting your health and aging strong is our mission. And finally, if you want to keep your brain sharp, your body strong, and your future bright, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Senior Health Boost. Together, we'll keep uncovering the hidden habits that shape your health, and we'll do it in a way that empowers you to live stronger, age better, and protect the organ that defines who you are, your brain. Sleep well, my friend. You truly deserve it.